Sattler Files.
Welcome back to the Sattler Files. I'm Tricia Duffield and I'm talking to Scott Wescombe from Happy Physio. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Tricia. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much for joining us. Now, of course, most people across the course of their life have to use physios. Tell us why people should choose someone such as yourself, Happy Physio. What's so good about Happy Physio?
Yeah, so the main reason people choose Happy Physio, generally they're looking for a result. So sometimes I've tried a lot of other things. Sometimes they get referred straight to us by a friend or family member. The good news is that when they do come to us, they have come to the right place. And I remember being a physio client myself about a decade ago when I played semi-elite football for Subiaco in the Waffle. And I knew what I wanted at the time. I was always after a certain result. And also understood what frustrated me with the experience that I received. But at the end of the day, when people visit a physio, they want to get results. And for Sally, it might be to stop the neck pain so she can enjoy working and spending quality time with the kids when she gets home. And for George, you might want to stop the back pain and also help prevent the pain from reoccurring so he doesn't have to suffer reactively in the future. And for Sarah, it might be simply recovering from an injury and returning to sport and doing what she loves to do, and whether that's pushing to just playing casual sport or pushing to make a certain type of team, whether it's a state team or national squad. Physio plays a really important part. But what we love to do here at Happy Physio is to take people's health back to where it was, and then that's where they were at risk of injury, and take it to a whole new level so that the buffer between where they're at and that pain injury type threshold, we're trying to increase that gap so they stay healthy and happy and just enjoy life more and perform better in the relationships, in the family situation, but also in the workplace and sporting environment. So
now, there's a lot of trust, isn't there, between a client and a physio? So you go to a physio, you've got a pain in your knee or you've got a bad back or you've done your neck in, and you have to trust that physio knows exactly what to do. How do you make those judgments? How do you decide, well, this is the physio for me? Yeah,
I think it's a really good question, and I know myself, I like to have a coffee most days, and I like it really hot. I don't like it when it gets burnt, but I just like it nice and hot. And it really scares me trying out a new coffee place because I only like to have one coffee a day, and I really, really like to enjoy it. And so the result I'm after is a hot coffee, not a cold or warm one, a really hot one. And it makes me appreciate and understand how scary it is for someone who is in pain or who has an injury, and to choose where to go to get a guaranteed result, and whether it be physio, chiro, GP, massage, etc. And then once they choose physio, which physio do I go to? And yeah, I get worried about a $4 to $5 cup of coffee, and I get a little bit peed off when I don't get the result that I'm seeking. And it's not about the $4 or $5, it's about the result and the experience that I get. And if you're in pain and injury or suffering versus just getting a coffee, it can be really, really scary and super frustrating afterwards if you don't get the result or the experience you're after. And I've felt this way in the past using different tradesmen in Perth, and sometimes it would take about using, say, 4 electricians or 4 plumbers to get the result I'm after. I'm still trying to fix a pool leak after trying about 5 different people. I understand how frustrating it is, and it shouldn't take 4 or 5 different electricians or plumbers to find a good one. But when I do find a good one, I keep going back, or keep getting them to come back, and then I recommend them to my friends. And that's our desire here at Happy Physio, and to give people peace of mind that we know how to deliver results. We do have a results guarantee, and that probably gives people the peace of mind that they're after. And after working with over 250,000 people from 36 different countries, and completing a physio degree with first class honours, an exercise and sports science degree, being author of the best-selling book From Pain and Injury to Healthy and Happy, working as a strategic intervention coach, clinical Pilates practitioner, certified Les Mills body trainer, certified personal trainer, and completing dozens of other qualifications from some of the best organisations in the world, I'd have to be living on another planet to not know how to deliver real results that people are seeking. So having the results guarantee that we have in place at Happy Physio, really people can feel very comfortable that if they follow what we recommend and don't get results, we'll fully refund all of the out-of-pocket expenses. But we know how to get results, and that hasn't been used once in the past 6 years. So
wow, that's amazing. Because if someone does come to you and they have done their knee in, who have a serious knee injury or a back injury, is there always a way around that? Like, are you always confident that, we can with physio pretty well, if you don't need surgery, we can pretty well get you back to where you were?
It depends what type of injury they've had, so how much trauma the knee has received. But a lot of the time, when someone does get injured, they're not actually, a lot of the time they're operating at 40, 50, 60% of their health and fitness capacity. So when they once they've had the knee injury, generally that drops a little bit, but we get it back up to that 40, 50, 60%. But also take it up to, say, 80, 90%. There's a lot of other things that they haven't done in their typical day, their typical week, in their lifestyle to really enhance. And so with the knee, so if you enhance some muscles around the bottom and muscles around the midsection here, it massively offloads and helps the knee actually have better alignment. If you look from the bottom-up approach with the foot, there's a lot we can do around there, and the knee can end up performing much, much better than what it did pre-injury. So, and that's what we do here at Happy Physio.
Do you see a lot of people who come in who aren't fit, who by having an injury and then by having to address the injury actually become, more fit or more aware of their bodies after that experience? Is it sometimes an injury that sort of kicks them onto a healthier lifestyle? Is that something that you see?
Probably 50% of the time. Some people aren't quite ready to really take their health as serious what they potentially should and could. But a lot of the time, it's a trigger for people to start to take a little bit more care for their body and for their lifestyle, and look at different ways to enhance it. Because a lot of people, we've moved into a bit of a sedentary type of society, and a lot of people lose connection with their body and lose awareness of different body parts, and that's what gets them in trouble in the first place. So that lack of awareness, one, causes the pain or injury why they've come into us, but it also puts them at massive risk for future unnecessary pain and injuries. And when they do decide to take that action, everyone that goes down that pathway, they are our happiest clients, and they're the ones we love to serve as well, because it's just a really good journey.
Yeah. And when people make those choices, when they have an injury, how do they know, look, this needs physio, or, because I imagine a lot of people might go, well, it's my knee, it's my age, I should just expect that, and they just leave those injuries to go. When should people seek a physio to intervene?
The best time is today, so before they actually get the injury. But once you've got the knee injury, it's best to get it checked out, because sometimes it can actually be something really serious. Sometimes it might just be a little twitch in the knee. It's nothing serious, and they can just continue doing what they're doing. It's going to disappear really quickly. But there's some serious stuff that can go in the knee, and a lot of the time it's not about the knee, but about what's happening below the knee, or usually above the knee. So if things aren't working well above the knee, it just puts every different body part at risk of excess force. And if you get that excess force day after day after day, you get a compounding effect, and it can really wear out joints quicker. It can stress the bone out more, and muscles get overloaded and they spasm up as a bit of a protective response. And then all of a sudden you get pain signals feeding back from the knee or from the ankle or from the hip or from the lower back to the brain, saying I'm unhappy, as a warning signal that something's getting irritated continually. So,
because the knee is a hopeless joint, isn't it? It has to do a lot of work, and so much can go wrong with the knee. Is that, do you see as a physio, is the knee the weak link in the human body? I'm putting it to you, Scott.
Probably not the weak link. I'd probably go further up the body, just around the trunk's probably the weak link in today's society. So the trunk muscles, they do a lot of really, really good work when they're working well. When they're not working so well, they let the whole body down massively. So the bottom muscles and the trunk muscles, it's really the key to good movement patterns in the first place. So
now, other people might also be, injury-free. They haven't had injuries because they haven't used their bodies that much over the course of their lifetime, so they haven't played sport. They haven't had any of those sort of injuries, but they're still at risk, aren't they? Because a body that's not got strong muscles supporting the joints at any moment can be prone to injury. Do you see a lot of those sort of people that come in who've just not done anything for their, the course of their lives, who suddenly got an injury from, just doing ordinary everyday things?
Yeah, it's extremely common. People come in, once we do a functional movement test, you can sort of get a bit of an idea of how their body performs, and then you by asking a few questions initially, you find out what their daily demands are that they put their body under. With the simple test, I'd say about 80% of our clients, or maybe a little bit less, it's like their body's a scooter and they've got a big trailer behind full of bricks, and they're driving along on the freeway with a scooter, carting a trailer full of bricks, and at some point it's going to break down. The little joints in the scooter are going to get irritated, going to get unhappy, and it is going to break down reactively. Whereas if we do some work in the first place to get that scooter up to a Holden Commodore or a powerful forward drive, a V8 forward drive or something like that, all of a sudden they can put whatever they want on the back, whatever daily demands, so the trailer being the daily demands, and they'll be able to get from A to B to get to where they want to get to with comfort, with safety, and not having to worry about breaking down in the meantime. So
I like that. That's what I'm going to call my husband. A scooter pulling a trailer load of bricks. That's a really nice way to describe it. But it is true, isn't it? I guess that, and people just get used to put a bit of extra weight on, they do a little bit less, they get used to it, and then they, no wonder we get the injuries we get, because the joints, they're still the same joints. They're just trying to handle all that extra load and weaker muscles and so on. So when you talk about a functional analysis, people might think, oh, I don't want to have one of those. What's involved in a functional analysis of someone's movement?
It's very simple. We look at movement patterns in the first place, and then we can break those movement patterns down into look at specific muscles and joints. But the movement patterns tell us, so it could be a single leg squat, something as simple as that, or a single leg hop test. And it gives us all this really, really good information, because generally when we're moving about, we're only on one leg. So when you're walking, there's only a small amount of time where both feet are in contact with the ground. So it's really important to see what happens when someone's only on one leg, and we can soon figure out which muscles are causing the deficiency in the pathway. And sometimes it's balance, sometimes it's strength, sometimes it's endurance. It's always specific to that individual person. So
right. Well, your knowledge is phenomenal. You obviously live and breathe it. So I can see that obviously getting people back up and back out there and actually living a more healthy lives to avoid injuries in the future is something that you're really passionate about. So I think if people walk through your door, they'd be pretty happy knowing that they're going to walk out with some very good information and some good ways that they can address whatever's going on with them.
Certainly, yeah.
Well, Scott Wescombe from Happy Physio, thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you very much, Tricia.
This is the Sattler 5.